creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
One of the most evil, demonic brands in America today. It's Crumble Cookie. Gasoline is probably cleaner than a Crumble Cookie. The owner is making
gasoline
millions of dollars off this product and really poisoning the American people.
And she's not wrong. Crumble isn't just selling cookies. They go viral on social media, market to kids, load their products with sugar and toxic ingredients, and then disguise them as treats. One cookie can top 700 calories and over 87 grams of sugar. For adults, that's already over 3 times the daily recommended limit. And for kids, the American Heart Association says they should have no more than 25 grams a day. So one Crumble cookie is giving them more than 3 days worth of sugar in just a few bites. So what's inside these processed treats? Bleach and processed flours, processed sugars, seed oils, preservatives and artificial flavors, and food dyes you wouldn't even want in your kids' finger paints. Oh, and this is the same brand that teamed up with the Kardashians, glamorizing that pink box full of toxins and calling it trendy. Bottom line, this is not dessert. This is a chemical cocktail disguised as a cookie, made to fatten their profits and destroy your health. So think twice next time you decide to eat one.
So stop eating them.
So this was the city of the snake people. Did they have serpentine features?
Yes.
Wow. That's a snake. Oh, snake. Ooh, yeah. Beautiful.
This is a gate to the underworld. According to the mysteries, this place, the real name is Amaru Markawasi, to means the city of the snakes. Oh. And here is possible to feel it. When you open, we put the coca leaves. You will see how they fly.
Coca, you said coca leaves?
You see? Yeah. Look, the intensity of the energy.
2 years later, J.D. Vance is born in Middletown, Ohio. And maybe he needed a sister. They do it again. Erica Kirk, born in Middletown, but they scrub the records because these two have plans later in life to create Dark Enlightenment Hell through funding by Peter Thiel and the blood sacrifice of Charlie Kirk. King Kill 33 style, which at this, again, I'm going to direct you to another episode I did if you want to learn more about the ritual sacrifice of Charlie Kirk.
Jeffrey
I don't think it's conspiracy. It's already been proven.
Epstein was the owner of 2 Incorporated. 2 Incorporated is the Limited 2, Justice Clothing.
That ownership came from Les Wexner, who owns
Everything,
including Victoria's Secret. Les Wexner gave Jeffrey Epstein this corporation. But why?
My conspiracy theory here is that Anne Hathaway, famous actress,
Yes.
is the same Anne Hathaway from way back when who was married to Shakespeare. And, get this,
Yeah.
her husband, I think his name's Adam Shulman, is the reincarnation of Shakespeare. Now, if you look at pictures of them, and you look at paintings of the two from way back when, there's an uncanny resemblance.
Well, because she's got the same name and she looks a bit like her. That's the science that I need.
These are all famous adult film stars that the world loves to receive pleasure from by watching them do inappropriate things. And do you know what they all have in common? It's that none of them are on this earth anymore. They all either ended their life or overdosed on drugs. You know the scary and the sad thing about the adult film industry that nobody talks about is that the average lifespan of an adult film star is 37 years old. Can you imagine? This is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's son. These are people who cries blood for, and you're consuming them and you're just watching it casually thinking it's harmless entertainment while it's ruining your spiritual walk with the Lord, and you're feeding on other people's brokenness. My friend, you need to quit this thing. You need to hop on something like the Quitter app that helps you block off all this garbage content. You need to repent and come to the Lord and say, God, clean my heart. I don't want this in my life anymore. Man, I'm telling you, stop feeding on other people's brokenness. These are people who Christ paid who Christ paid a price for. Don't you understand? These are people who are future sons and daughters. These are people who are called by God, yet you're casually watching them do this wicked thing that the devil deceived them into doing. Man, I'm serious. Stop it. Stop it before it's too late. Repent.
Same goes for worldly music too. We need to stop feeding on other people's brokenness.
McDonald's, what are you doing? All the files have been released. As strange as that has been, as weird as that has been for all of us, now McDonald's is offering a night meal with the Moloch on it. Do you guys know what Moloch is? It's the deity of child sacrifice. People used to sacrifice their children to it. It's just...
Erica Kirk seemingly...
Man, that's crazy. McDonald? Moloch?
Has multiple connections to a well-known Satanist. So who is Michael Aquino and what is going on with these eyebrows? Welcome back to part 2 of discussing Michael Aquino, and this is a rabbit hole that keeps on rabbit holing, so it might be another part. So we talked a little bit about his background in part 1, and that his grandfather was embroiled in scandal and his parents seemingly liked the occult. So a lot of people have been talking about Rosemary's Baby. And that's kind of funny because the film screening is actually where young Michael Aquino met Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, not to be confused with the Satanic Temple, which is different. Michael Aquino became one of the most prolific Satanists and later did leave the Church of Satan from Anton LaVey, but at the same time, he also had a military career. There are a lot of different survivor testimonies out there that talk about Michael Aquino and saying how he was in charge of the Monarch program, which, if you're not familiar, is a offshoot and very secretive MK Ultra like mind control program that the CIA doesn't really want you to know about. Aquino started his military career in Vietnam and started producing these psyops, basically the psychological tactic of manipulating a population or using it in wartime to beat an enemy. We ended up losing, but he published a bunch of papers. He was critically acclaimed by Richard Nixon. And there's really not much else publicly available about his later career, but there are many survivors who have talked about the fact that Dr. Michael Aquino has done something to them. Then there was the Presidio daycare scandal, and this was part of a satanic panic thing that happened, where government daycare facilities started having issues of young children reporting SA. Daycare scandal itself is a whole mess. Multiple children come forward. There are positive STI tests. Aquino, of course, denies all of the wrongdoing, sues the government, and then it just so happens that on the autumnal equinox, a very important day for Temple of Set members, the daycare building starts on fire multiple times. But there is a toddler that comes forward, picks him out of a lineup, and then also correctly identifies
a toddler?
His house on Leavenworth Street. And one of Aquino's arguments is that, oh, I just look...
Man, look at them eyebrows.
Evil. Therefore, they're just picking me out because of this. Basically using his devilish horned eyebrows and pudgy Batman appearance as a way to discredit survivors. So what do you guys think about Michael Aquino? Is he related to Erica and JD? Do you think it's weird that somebody associated with him would be publicly associated with Turning Point USA? Leave me a comment and come back for more.
You know, the Obey logo was such a throwback. I used to love their clothes. Not anymore, though.
Whoever you think the Kardashians are, I promise you, they're 10 times worse. For the last couple of weeks, I have been deep diving and doing some major research into the Kardashian family. Not just the crimes and scandals of Kim, Khloe, Kris, and all the rest, but the actual roots of the Kardashian family. And in doing that, I've found a very clear and specific pattern in the Kardashian family. One of monopolization, one of scamming, one of lies, one of extremist Christian beliefs, and more importantly, white supremacy and Zionism. The Kardashians have a long and storied history with manipulating this country and the people in it, going all the way back to her great-grandfather and great-uncle who allegedly were running monopolies in California. This rabbit hole is deeper than you could possibly imagine. And it leads directly not only to the Kardashian California Community Church, but to issues of genocide and American politics today. So brace yourselves, because we're about to take a look at a family with more ties to the KKK than the KKK has itself. Over the next week, I will show you both on this channel and on my podcast, Scandal Queens, who the real Kardashians are. Love you, Ken.
Finally, the veil is lifting.
These are 5 toxic secrets that McDonald's doesn't want you to know. And if you watch till the end, you'll probably never want to eat at McDonald's again. Number 1, their potatoes are treated with CPIC after harvest. This is a toxic sprout inhibitor that is banned in the EU.
They are so good, though.
Number 2,
I mean, even from here.
their eggs are not real. They come from a liquid egg blend that is filled with citric acid, modified starch, and soybean oil. Number 3, their pancakes contain sodium, aluminum phosphate, and monocalcium phosphate. These are the same chemicals used in asphalt and fertilizer. Number 4, their nuggets contain dimethyl polysiloxane, which is a silicone that is found in caulking and other lubricants. They add it as an anti-foaming agent in their fryer. And number 5, even their salt isn't just salt. It's a processed blend with anti-caking agents with sugar and potassium iodide. I'm still wondering why so many people still eat there. Make sure you share this video with someone that still does.
All right. No more McDonald's for me.
The most evil auras that I have ever seen. First on this list is Madonna. So many people requested Madonna. She has an all red and black outer layer around her auric field. This red tells me that she is somebody that has been in survival mode for a while. She's very connected to her lower chakras. When I read people's auras, there's usually a cord that connects them to the higher realms, to above the firmament, and I just don't see that with Madonna. I feel like she is somebody that is going to be stuck over and over again in the earthly realms. And when I look into this red color here, it's very dark. This dark red, and before I say this, not all red auras mean the same thing. This is what I pick up as a psychic intuitive and from the shade of red that's in her auric field. She is somebody that takes the vitality from other people. I do see that there is a lot of vitality, but this is not rightfully her vitality, if you guys can get what I mean here. Also another thing with Madonna is she has, I don't want to say the word reincarnated, but it's almost like she never passed. Like, they're showing me visuals of her in different time periods where it's just her, and then she has the same life as a performer, somebody in power. I see her, she can get very aggressive at times too. Like, I see her screaming at people. This black outer layer tells me that she is somebody that has a lot of protection. There could be entities that she is favored by that are protecting her. Either way, there's nothing coming in and out of that. Next on my list, Erica Kirk. So Erica's
Madonna, maybe she is like a vampire.
Energy, and people also very much requested this. Erica's energy is a true blue. I don't feel as though Erica is the same person she once was.
And how do you know all this again?
I don't know, but Erica's energy overall is this dark indigo blue with some lighter blue layers inside. However, now I see that there is a lot of gray around her. There's a lot of dark energy around her. I do feel like this is like an energetic manipulation that's been placed on her. I don't feel as though this is somebody that came into this earth with the same spirit she's coming out with, if you guys catch my drift. But this dark blue and light blue that is her true aura color tell me that she has had a past life in a different star system. And with that, she is bringing her same values from that possibly lower dimensional star system or higher dimensional star system. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you guys want to see what your aura looks like, check out the Aura More app available for Android and iOS.
News outlets trying to get their own information, especially with the Epstein stuff that's going on, dealing with sex trafficking.
We said our prayer. And we ask the Lord to protect us.
Look at her eyes.
Students
unable to understand, really.
Okay, well, until you walk.
So odd.
Man, that is creepy.
Erica used to talk
almost normal, warm, even back in the day. But now she talks like she's wearing a human skin suit. She used to blink like a normal person, but now she just stares like she's waiting for the heat lamp to come back on. Her old interviews felt natural, but now she sounds like a reptile who studied charisma on masterclass.com. After Charlie died, she got real weird. I know. People process loss differently, and I guess Erica is just processing it like a shapeshifter shedding new skin.
She does have an odd, intense stare.
So many people believe that Northwest, Kanye West's daughter, actually just did an initiation ritual with the Freemasons. This is the symbol on the wall that she's performing in front of. Y'all recognize this? Anybody? It's one of the most prominent symbols in Freemasonry. Now, keep this in mind. You say to yourself, well, she's 12 years old, she's performing, and she's at this venue that has this thing on the wall. That's not her fault. She didn't know. And maybe you're right. Maybe she did not know.
Right.
But the adults that set this up, they definitely knew. What's even worse is people keep thinking this stuff is fake. I keep telling them over and over again, it's not fake, it's real. These ceremonies exist. These initiation rituals are real. But there was one more comment that really got my attention. It says, this is what y'all call Kanye crazy for predicting what's going to happen if she lived with Kim. Kind of hard to disagree with this at this point. Tell me what you think in the comments.
I think Kanye and Kim sold her to the industry.
And the Sampaku is the three whites at the top and the three whites at the bottom. She's got the psychotic Sampaku eye. I've been documenting this. All the podcasters, anybody who wants to get into the algorithm, they utilize this because it is symbolism to affect the psyche. Joe Rogan's podcast is literally the Sampaku eye on the pineal gland where the connection to God is. It is symbolism. And Bonnie Blue, who made it very popular, #1 video on the naughty sites wearing the blue, is Callie.
She got, by the way, that girl got arrested in Bali.
You see Callie with the Sampaku Taku as well, with the tongue out, wearing the blue. This is diving deep into psychology through symbolism of the devouring feminine. See the devouring feminine? It's just like the mantis. It's the mantis archetype.
I used to wonder why they stopped teaching cursive in school, and now I think I'm onto something. So they didn't ban cursive, but they did remove it from the Common Core standards back in 2010, and then schools followed. So like my son's in junior high, he was never taught cursive. So I think it's either one of these. So AI cannot decode cursive. I just found this out. It's one of the only things AI cannot decode. So were they preparing us? Like, were they getting ready for that? Or is it the fact that all of our historical documents, our declaration it's all in cursive? So is it to like dumb us down, like so the next generation won't be able to really understand the laws or read the laws or know these things, or just to make it harder? Like it has to do with something, right? Like they didn't just stop teaching cursive for no reason. I don't know. Let me know what you think
How many of you know that the Bible actually forbids celebrating birthdays? Deuteronomy 36:1 clearly says, "Do not celebrate the day of thy birth with feasting and merriment, for such celebrations exalt man over God." Even though it says this, we still celebrate birthdays and we don't think anything of it. But really, the most important thing about this verse is that it does not exist. There is no Deuteronomy 36:1, and I made it up to show you how easy it is to believe information about the Bible that you just don't know because you don't read your Bible for yourself. We have to remember that most of what we hear online may not be true, and especially when it comes to something as important as scripture, we need to always check it for ourselves. We need to know our Bible and not just listen to different people online when we have no idea if what they're saying is factual.
Wait, you need to hear this one.
The definition of future, if you look it up in the dictionary, literally Google it. Google the definition of future.
The time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or writing.
Read that again.
The time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or writing.
The definition of the future is the moment you speak or you write something, that is your future. By definition, it's the moment of time following the period of speaking or writing. The moment you speak or write something, by definition, that's your future.
In creation.
Define past.
Gone by in time and no longer existing.
And what's the next thing?
The time or a period of time before the moment of speaking or writing.
What does that say again?
Same thing, just the past.
The moment or period of time before you speak or write. So the moment you speak or write something, that becomes your future. Anything prior to that moment is now your past. Most people recreate their past because they just keep talking about the past. So it becomes the future all over again. Or you will say, I want to make $100,000. And then you start speaking, God, let me just make enough money to pay my bills. So God says, you get enough money to pay your bills, but you don't get the $100,000. You stop speaking that. That became your past the moment you start speaking something else.
Because here's the thing that most people don't understand about manifestation. Every word coming out of your mouth is energy taking shape. So when you keep saying, I'm so tired, or this is so hard, or nothing ever works out for me, your energy locks into that signal and the universe shows up to match it. So if you want a different tomorrow, please start catching the negative words you speak today now and start choosing the words that you want your future to have on purpose, because that's where manifestation actually begins. And remember, you are a powerful creator.
Watch what you think and say.
Show you guys again. This is for a boat. Rewatch. You see where I'm at? You see this castle? Right? The same castle right here. This was all water underneath these streets before they paved over it. It's the same castle right here. This whole thing was where they docked boats right on this temple. You got two cleats back to back on the side of this temple because water will run underneath it. I showed the canals in Cahos today. What do you think's under this city? There was all water in here first. This is in Cahos. See how the whole city's full of water? The canals ran into this city. They covered these streets up in Cahos. Same way they covered these ones up right here in front of them. Just like that. We were like Venice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. This whole place was like Italy. And on all these tunnels they talk about underneath the street, those are the old canal systems.
The Talmud and the Kabbalah are satanic, perverted, Mesopotamian magic cults. And so these same people,
it's black magic,
have very pure bloodlines. Their marriages are carefully planned. They live in huge, luxurious palaces in Venice, in Florence, in Rome, all over Italy. For instance, they set up Christianity. They set up the Vatican. They were the popes. And if you've ever noticed, the popes have that big domed hat with decorative elements on it. And that is from the pounded felt tradition of the Scythians and the Central Asians, the Iranian tribes. And it's because they want to control religion, because they control the people by controlling religion. So the Aldobrandinis, the Chigis who run the Vatican Bank, all these families are all related. They've intermarried. The whole Habsburg Empire was set up and created by them. That was another breeding program. So there's a very long ancient history, and it's very relevant today because they're still in charge. They use religions to hide behind and conceal who they really are. But they're Zoroastrian Mithra worshippers.
So this is what a parasite would do if it found out you were pregnant.
Parasite finds out that a woman now is going to have a child, and so the child's now taking all the special enzymes and all the special things. What does that parasite do? Well, it gets on a bunch of filth and it gets up into the brain and knows exactly where to lean against the walls, throwing into a state of cravings for foods that they want.
Man.
This is a conscious state of thought, and they're not stupid. And when they're upset with you, they want you to stop doing that, so they all urinate at the same time. They basically urinate at the same time to make you stop doing whatever it is you're doing, so that you think that the herbs you're taking or whatever you're taking is making you sick. That's a state of consciousness.
Wait until you hear this.
Driving Lyft, daytime. And I picked this lady up. She says, hey, how you doing? I say, I'm doing good. How about yourself? She was like, I'm good. You know who I am? She said, my name is Lilith. I'm a succubus. Before, never knew what a succubus was. And she was like, well, let me tell you about you. She says, I know that you want to go to the NFL. What else you know about me? She was like, I know you like jazz music. Only 2 people know I love jazz music, my mom and my wife. Now the hairs on my neck are standing up because how you know this? She was like, you love Jesus. I said, yeah, but you a freak though. Okay.
What?
Let's pause here. So, bro, here I am. Oh, I'm saved. Yeah. But you talking to demons though. I'm the reason men have wet dreams. She said, I go after faithful ones, people who are faithful to their wives, of faith within Christ. I go after them. You ain't giving nobody no wet dreams. She stopped my thought. Hey, don't look at me like this. I transform in your dreams. By the way, you got a child on the way. And she says, you got a son. Don't worry. I'm going to send my daughter to come after him.
Oh, heck no.
I used to self-pleasure in the shower. The moment I stepped into the shower, I felt eyes looking at me. I can't teach my kids on how to put on condoms. I can't do that no more, man. The reason why she was that close to you to sit in your back seat, because that's how long she's been attached to you. So wait a minute. So you telling me that this has been attached to me since 6th grade? Yeah. Every time that you masturbate, every time you watch pornography, every time you go into that sexual immorality state, guess what? You marrying her.
The enemy loves to walk through the open door of pain and trauma and grief.
Yes, sir.
Evil people are not the ones that need deliverance.
Yeah.
Broken people do.
Come on, man.
In medieval lore, the incubus is the demon that seduces women, and the succubus is the demon that seduces men. Although they're not in the Bible, the early church father, Thomas Aquinas, believed them to be real beings. We can look at 1 Corinthians 6:18, which says, flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexual immoral person sins against his own body. And 2 Timothy 2:22 says, so flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace.
Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and become a member because truth matters.
Lack of self-control is where it starts.
If you want to get rid of any limiting belief, here's a neuroscience-based hack. And so if you think maybe you're not smart enough, not good enough, not worthy enough, you're too old or anything, name any limiting belief you have and write it down on a piece of paper. So let's say you say, I don't think I'm smart enough to achieve my goal of this. Money is hard to make, etc. Whatever the limiting belief is, write it down and then write another sentence right below it that says, in the past, I used to believe that, and then write down what your limiting belief is and then add, and now what I'm choosing to believe is that I'm more than smart enough. I'm more than worthy enough. I'm more than good enough. I'm more than capable to learn what I need to learn to make the money that I want. So make the statement that is your current belief that may be negative or disempowering you, make it into the past statement, which opens up the filters in your brain, but it also gives your brain a new fact. And here's what I want you to do. Every day, for 1 minute to 2 minutes, inner size, repeat it, say it, feel it. And if you want to write it down as a secondary thing, do it. And here's what I promise you. You will start to release, let go of limiting beliefs faster, easier, and way smarter than ever before. And that is the power of inner size. Use your brain better and you'll achieve your goals a lot easier.
Man, this Ozempic is getting out of hand. They got Randy Jackson looking like Woody from Toy Story. Like, for real, his legs look like the Ozempic shots. Somebody comes to rob your house, you hiding behind a broomstick. Oddly, though, it looks like Wesley Snipes' head on Mick Jagger's body. And I'm telling you, in like 5 years, we're going to see the Netflix documentary and all the bad it does. But guess what? They're getting paid to push this. They're drug dealers, man. Lose any more weight, you're going to be a molecule. A little molecule on the red carpet. Being a personal chef to a Hollywood celebrity these days is like unemployment. You're just like, oh, let me go roast this walnut for Kelly Osbourne, and my day's done.
The ideology that is brainwashing women is the same one that is destroying men. Hedonism. Now, I'll admit, I think women are way worse off than men nowadays, but my audience is 90% men. We're not just going to sit here and complain. We're going to take responsibility. Because here's the deal. Feelings are a great indicator, but they are a terrible master. And we are being taught that pursuing things like sex, money, and status is our primary goal. But these are all surface level. And as soon as you run into something that doesn't feel good, you're just going to roll over and play dead. That's why while the rest of our generation is ruled by pleasure, you have to be ruled by pain. Get clear on the long-term pain associated with that bad habit, whether it's lust or laziness. And I promise you, if it's painful enough, you will be able to endure the short-term pain of denying yourself. Go make it happen. Our generation needs it.
So my dad is a neurologist.
Let's make it
and there are some
happen.
things that he banned in our household because they can cause dementia. And if you didn't know, 42 out of 100 people will develop dementia at some point in their life. First up, he doesn't let me use tampons, specifically Tampax tampons. And this is because they put heavy metals and lead in the tampons that we literally shove up our body. They're actually being sued for it, and I found the lawsuit. Second is the Tums toothpaste and Colgate toothpaste. My dad said that they use unsafe amounts of lead in the toothpaste that you literally put in your mouth. So hey, that's crazy. I also found out that they're paying up to $300 or more to anyone who's used these brands, and I've used that toothpaste for years, so I went straight to the Collect Settlement Finder app and filed. And then the last one my dad banned is Lululemon. And that's because inside their polyester material, they have PFAs, and if you don't know what that is, it's a forever chemical. It'll literally seep into your bloodstream. And it can potentially cause fertility issues and cancer. So if you've used any of these companies that I just mentioned, take this as your sign to remove it from your household. You can join all these lawsuits on the Collect Settlement Finder app, and this is the one that my dad and I like because it sends you a notification the second you're eligible to file. So go file. And I feel like at this point, we should probably just boycott the FDA because this is getting insane.
You know, she said all this while eating out of a plastic bowl. Come on, man.
Unpopular truth? They're not aliens. They're demons. I've seen them with my own eyes. They actually look a lot like aliens and how they've been portraying them. When I think back to my experience with that demon, seeing his face, he was gray with like really big eyes and like thousands of teeth, like rows and rows of sharp, razor sharp teeth. And he was like large head, and he offered me a contract to sign. He offered me everything I thought I wanted. Private jets, money, clothing brand deals, fame, like insane power. Aliens don't offer those things. It actually took me a year before I found Christ to realize that. I was convinced I had seen an alien and had an interaction with an alien. And this is the deception. This is how easy it is to be deceived when you're living in the world and you don't know Jesus and you don't have the Holy Spirit in you and you don't know the truth. Aliens don't offer you fame and fortune. They don't. But you know who does? Satan.
This is the 4-ingredient cocktail that big corporations are using to poison our pineal gland and keep us disconnected from the higher world.
It will be a movement driven by big corporations to take the soul away from people, to disconnect people from the higher world. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the pineal gland in people. And I followed the research on that, and amazingly what we found, the pineal gland is the most sensitive part of our central nervous system. And is highly, highly, highly sensitive to 4 things: aluminum, glyphosate, fluoride, and Wi-Fi. And we are the only country in the world that has pushed these 4 things in the last 60 years or so on everybody growing up here. There must have been an ultra-intelligent group of scientists who have designed this protocol to fluoridate the drinking water, to put nanonized aluminum in the air, to put glyphosate in the food, and then activate it, spark it with the right frequencies.
This new documentary about Corey Feldman is truly insane, and his team really don't want people to see this. Out of the thousands of documentaries I've seen and posted about, I've never seen people campaign harder to have a documentary not seen. This wild documentary follows around Corey Feldman as he goes on tour with his rock group, The Angels. He says that the whole point of this group is to uplift these women and their talent, but as the documentary goes on, you begin to realize that that's not really what's happening at all. Some of the former band members then leave the band and come forward saying that allegedly Corey abused them. And Corey himself makes some wild claims in this documentary. This is such an interesting documentary because you see how child fame can affect somebody, and we've seen this before with many other child celebrities. Not only that, but how it's possible to be somebody who advocates for survivors of abuse and then also be
somebody who perpetuates it, allegedly. You guys gotta check this out. You can watch Corey Feldman versus the World on Apple TV.
Or delusional pop stars who refuse to accept they are completely washed up. Number 4, Justin Timberlake, the What Tour disaster. Pulled over for a DUI, he arrogantly told the cop, "This is going to ruin the tour." The young officer genuinely replied, "What tour?" That single interaction perfectly summarized his washed up status. He thinks it's still 2006, but the world has moved on. Number 3, Katy Perry, the forced comeback. She desperately tried to manufacture a massive return with her single, Woman's World, but it felt so outdated and cringeworthy that it became an instant global flop. She spent millions trying to force the internet to care, proving you simply can't buy relevance. Number 2, Madonna, the TikTok tragedy. The queen of pop refuses to pass the torch gracefully. Instead, she posts bizarre, heavily filtered TikTok videos acting like a rebellious teenager. Getting angry when fans don't worship her current era, she sadly turned a legendary legacy into a walking cringe compilation. Number 1, Jennifer Lopez, the ultimate ego trip. She genuinely thought the world still cared about her romance, self-funding a $20 million movie purely about her own love life. It became a global laughingstock. To make matters worse, she had to quietly cancel her entire arena tour due to embarrassingly low ticket sales.
Madonna still sells out concerts.
Is Palantir the CIA? Let's look at the timeline. In 2003, Palantir is born, named after the all-seeing, all-corrupting crystal ball from Lord of the Rings. In 2005, the CIA hands Palantir their first $2 million. Also in 2005, Palantir engineers are physically inside of CIA headquarters. They're wiring their prototype directly into the nation's most classified networks. In 2008, Palantir Gotham is released. Yes, Gotham, like Batman. Gotham is a custom-built surveillance operating system designed by the CIA for the CIA. So where's the line between public intelligence and a private software company? Palantir didn't just sell to the state, they lived inside the state. Where are they now? They're hunting you. At home and abroad. The IRS uses Palantir to mine your finances and tax you more efficiently. ICE uses Palantir to broaden the police state. And they do drone strikes in the Middle East using facial recognition. Well, Palantir doesn't do facial recognition. So they use Clearview AI. One of Clearview AI's early investors was Peter Thiel. How does Clearview AI build their facial recognition data? Social media. Seems to me the only reason we wouldn't say that Palantir and the CIA are the same entity is semantics and legalese.
You learn something every day. This is shocking news to me. I just established this. Do y'all know that the Black Divine Nine fraternities and sororities protect the richest white families that run the world?
Really?
Check this out.
So from the Rothschilds to the Lee family are protected by the 9 Black Greek secret societies of Black fraternities and Black sororities. Well, in the 1969 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi, Alpha Phi Alpha protects the Rothschilds. Kappa Alpha Psi protects the Oppenheimers. Omega Psi Phi protects the Warburgs. Phi Beta Sigma protects the Rockefellers. Iota Phi Theta protects the Astor family. Alpha Kappa Alpha protects the Bilderbergs. Delta Sigma Theta protects the Habsburg family that exists to this day. Zeta Phi Beta, another Boule secret society, protects the Sassoons. And Sigma Gamma Rho, RHO, protects the Lee family. Wait a minute now. So you have 9 Black Greek letter secret societies. And if you guys heard Kamala Harris when she was in Vegas during the campaign, to my Divine 9 sisters, what she's talking about, the Greek panhandling.
When you keep going down the rabbit hole, it just gets darker and darker and crazier. So it makes me think, the Black leaders that's a part of the frats and the women that's a part of the sororities, are they protecting the families as well too? Y'all follow me for more truth bombs and news and reactions on IG. Come over to the YouTube channel and subscribe.
You know the most controversial family in this entire world? Well, it's not the Kardashians, it's the Rothschild. I told you I would do a deep dive, and here it goes. America is owned by one family. Today, authorities searched a Rothschild property. But this story started about 2 centuries ago, and it explains why the Epstein shit won't die. 1800, Rothschild's banking expands across Europe and into United States. The government needed private financiers to stabilize the country. In 1895, their money alone prevented the collapse of the U.S. Treasury. And from that point on, rich fucking powerful billionaires began to run our government. Money stabilizes nations, and nations protect money. Then in 1907, really rich people met on Jekyll Island. They designed the modern central banking system, aka the 1913 Federal Reserve. If we centralize monetary control, then we won't have a total financial collapse. The financial elites officially took charge of economic stability. Jump forward to the late 20th century. Power was redefined. Intelligence, finance, global influence. And who made that happen? And who was a key figure in that? Robert fucking Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Oh, he died in 91. We're not totally sure why. Yeah, maybe we know now. Because right after that, his daughter and Jeffrey Epstein were introduced into the global elite circle. That is when Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell began grooming the global elites, politicians, billionaires, everyone at the top. He was rich as fuck and he was positioned well. You can sell drugs once, but you can sell a child's body over and over, and he learned that quite quickly. Trafficking became his thing. So like in the 2000s, Americans were like, hey, Swiss banks, how come there are so many billionaire Americans that are stealing money and not paying taxes? Guess who it was? The Rothschild. And guess what we have in the Epstein files? Emails confirming this. Les Wexner confirming this as well. And not just one Rothschild, but all of them. Represented by Jeffrey Epstein. So weird, right? Because he wasn't even a lawyer. Does it make sense now why Epstein won the Powerball twice? So let's jump to today. Rothschild property was searched. So when you ask, why isn't anyone arrested yet? Go back to the 1800s and think about how everyone is connected and everyone is protecting everyone else at the top. Which is exactly why Pam Bondi wouldn't look at the survivors, because she's a part of all of this.
So then the conspiracy theory seems to be true.
Can you see the agenda? One of the main goals is to emasculate the man and to replace the woman. Now, this is something that they are trying to accomplish. I put a collage of photos together so you can see it for yourself. They're all paying homage to the Scottish Rite occult. They're all paying homage to the occult. Almost every celebrity is down with this agenda. Emasculate means to deprive a man of his male strength, confidence, or role, making him feel less masculine, or to weaken the effectiveness of something. One of the main agendas is to strip the man of his manhood and cast him into jail or put him to death so he can never, ever lead a nation of people in truth. Are you hearing what I'm telling you?
Oh, man.
They want to remove the man completely from the households of the children and women, especially melanated men. They don't want leadership, order, or protection in these households.
Wesley Snipes?
This wicked system has created systems so we can fail and to be removed. They want to govern and to control the women and children entirely. And they are trying to get this accomplished. The reason why I'm bringing this out, because the scriptures tells us the man can't wear the things unto a woman. Deuteronomy 22:5, a woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all who do so are an abomination to Yahuwah, your Elohim. Are you hearing me? This is a goal. This is an agenda. And we need to speak out. We need to expose the wickedness that be. Every last one of these celebrities are involved in some way. I'm always going to bring this to light because Ephesians 5:11-14 tells me to expose the wickedness. Look at this madness. Are you seeing it? Are you catching the play? Because if you don't get it by now, you just don't want to be in the truth.
Man, celebrities are garbage. They're puppets.
This is day 5 of trying to convince you that Jeffrey Epstein was attempting to perform sex magic rituals using the methods of Aleister Crowley. For For those who don't know, Aleister Crowley is probably the most famed occultist of the 20th century. Crowley belonged to a secret society called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and this society drew from Kabbalah, tarot, alchemy, and ceremonial rituals. Their aim was to harness the power of these traditions and use their rituals to effectuate real-world change. Crowley eventually left the Golden Dawn, but in 1904 he claimed to have received a supernatural message from a non-human entity named Awis. That entity dictated to him what became the Book of the Law, which would go on to become the foundational scripture for Crowley's new religion called Thelema. He then went on to take over a different group called the Ordo Templi Orientis, or the OTO, which he then reshaped around his new religion Thelema and sex magic rituals. One of the most important figures in Crowley's OTO was Jack Parsons, who is a rocket scientist who co-founded what eventually became NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Parsons then pulled in L. Ron Hubbard, the future founder of Scientology, into the operation. From January to March of 1946, Parsons performed a series of rituals called the Babylon Working, with L. Ron Hubbard acting as his scribe. The intention of these rituals was to summon a Thelemic goddess into the material world. And according to Parsons, the ritual actually worked. These people connected Jeffrey Epstein in two ways. First, his Zor Ranch home sits about 80 miles away from a building called the Trementina Base, which is where the Church of Scientology stores all of L. Ron Hubbard's foundational writings on titanium plates. The second connection is his book collection. Epstein purchased 2 books in 2007. The first book was The Secrets of Western Tantra by Christopher Hyatt. What? Christopher Hyatt is a 9th degree initiate of Crowley's OTO, which is the same initiatory rank as Jack Parsons. And the book teaches how intense physical and emotional states like sex can be used to create an outcome by implanting it into the subconscious mind. The second book is Modern Sex Magic by Donald Michael Craig. This book traces the lineage of Kabbalistic sex magic directly from the Temple of Solomon all the way through to Aleister Crowley and then to the present day. Modern sex magic promises to show you how to design your own sex magic rituals. Tomorrow, I will show you how this pattern is much older than Epstein or even Crowley, and how operators like Epstein have been working in the shadows for hundreds of years. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and if you want to check out my full documentary, which has a lot more details, it is available on my YouTube channel.
Epstein was a Mossad asset, and he was recording everything everyone was doing on the island to eventually use against them.
Can somebody tell me what is actually happening to the female celebrities in Hollywood? I haven't seen any men acting like this, but multiple females. What's happening?
I think I was funny. He told me he loved me, and he was like, you gotta trust yourself. And he picked me.
The movie's not a movie without you now.
That's right. Not heard that one yet. Really? Okay. I mean, that would be incredible. Is that something? So that's something that you're open to? Oh yeah, Kirby's been one of my favorite characters to ever play. She was just
I will say when I'm with my sister or we're in the car, sometimes like Who Says is one of the songs but I was 16 and that's what.
It has been very well known that every single one of these female celebrities has endured some kind of extreme trauma. But it makes me wonder, are they all going to the same doctor? What's happening? And it's not just the fact that their speech has completely slowed down or their bright personalities have completely dimmed out and the light in their eyes is gone. It's these weird mouth movements I've been noticing.
My left side.
The life of me be happy. I was so depressed and I just couldn't find my way out.
You wanted to be happy too. That's the thing. You were
desperately
looking forward to having the baby.
I'm not talking about age here, you guys. I'm talking about the light being completely removed from their eyes. I know so many people in the comment section are going to say, these are 20 years apart. You guys, the smile does not reach the eyes anymore. What is happening?
So you're telling me this big ugly goat demon half frog lizard rabbit thing with horns is in the Bible? Yes, indeed. These things were very much real, not just in the Bible, but also in regular history. Pan is a goat man, and he likes to rape stuff. If you walk past Pan's cave, he's going to rape you. That's what he said he was going to do. He loved to rape and he loved to play flutes. And people used to go to his cave and give sacrifices. This is real shit. They say, no, that cannot be true. Not possible at all. They didn't make this film for no reason. Who do you think Pan is? He's right there. That's his spiral staircase. Hello? Not only is the Grotto of Pan real, as you see below, you can go there and visit it yourself. That's the entrance to the cave. It says it right on the front. Here, I'll show you that too. You right there? That's the sign. Sanctuary of Pan.
Right now, millions of people believe they're going through a spiritual awakening, but almost all of them are walking into what I call a synthetic cage built by a jealous God, and it's a trap. So check this out. In Exodus chapter 34, verse 14, the text explicitly states, "For the Lord whose name is jealous is a jealous God." That is not the infinite alpha. That's the demiurge, the lesser architect who built this material matrix to trap your consciousness. So here's the good news. Over a century ago, Rudolf Steiner published the exact blueprint to escape this matrix. It's called the Way of Initiation. To break out, you must pass through 3 distinct gates: preparation, illumination, and initiation. So if you don't know what these are, the archons will intercept your journey and harvest your energy, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So here's exactly how to navigate them. Stage 1 is preparation. You have to master what we call the flesh circuit. The flesh circuit is the biological loop of stress, hunger, and exhaustion that keeps your cranial nerves locked in a constant state of survival and fear. The Nephilim built this physical simulation to keep your hardware dense and distracted. Now you override this through absolute somatic surrender. You must reset your vagus nerve to build a physical container capable of holding the higher frequencies. So check this out. Once your container is built, you enter the stage 2, which is illumination. This is where your inner energy centers align with the universal laws, unlocking a 14-dimensional frequency. But the moment your light turns on, you become visible to what we call the grid here. Steiner called this encountering the guardian of the threshold. The archons, the enforcers of the simulation, will masquerade as divine guides or spiritual breakthroughs. They offer you false light to siphon your newly generated energy back into the jealous God. You can override this by adopting what I call the sovereign posture. This means standing in your absolute self-generated authority. You observe the guardian, recognize it's just a projection of the system of fear, and you refuse to bow or pray to any external savior. This is what Jesus taught us. What will happen is you walk right through it, which brings you to stage 3, initiation. This is direct, conscious integration with the true watchers. You bypass the demiurge simulation entirely, and you become an active generator of this thing we call our reality. And so these are the steps: preparation to build the vessel, illumination to see through the false gods, and initiation to create the reality. This is your biological density. If you want to go deeper, read Steiner's Way of Initiation, do the work, drop the fear. Thank you. And I love you.
This sounds like a new age to me. But, jealous, I think jealous meaning worship no other idols, but the and only true living God.
So I was watching Eyes Wide Shut last night, and I noticed something I had never noticed before. So when he picks up this paper to read it, he's about to discover that the woman who saved him at the party was the same woman who was ODing in his rich friend's bathroom that he helped out. He's starting to put all the clues together. So they give you an opportunity to look at the paper and read it with him so that you see that it's that woman. But if you pause and actually read it, in this 3rd paragraph, it says, "She has many important friends in the fashion and entertainment worlds." And if you look right below it, he writes it again. Not just one word, so it's not a typo. He intentionally wrote that there twice. It's like he really wanted you to see that.
It's a shame elites edited this movie.
People with real superpowers.
Dean Karnazes. Super endurance. He can run 350 miles without stopping.
Wow.
Daniel Kish. Echolocation. He can ride a bike, despite being blind. Eddie Hall. Super strength. He can deadlift over 500
really
kilograms.
strong.
Joe Cameron. Pain immunity. She cannot feel any pain or anxiety. Super speed. Bruce Lee. His fists moved so fast,
My
cameras
man.
couldn't pick them up. Super stretchy skin. Gary Turner. Good luck trying to pinch him. Cold immunity. Wim Hof. He climbed Mount Everest without a shirt. Photographic memory. Stephen Wiltshire can draw entire cities after just one helicopter ride. Crazy as stomach. Michel Otito. He ate an entire airplane, which took him 2 years. Human calculator.
He ate what? An airplane? What?
Daniel Tammet. He cited over 22,000 digits of pi from memory.
Notice the blood mark cross on Cynthia's forehead? No wonder Ariana Grande quickly returned to a normal body shape after leaving Cynthia. Earlier, when Cynthia played Jesus, people noticed a strange shadow appearing on the wall. Rumors said this was because she had blasphemed against God. From then on, her weight dropped rapidly by 15 pounds, and her face became so gaunt, it was as if she were a different person. After Ariana Grande filmed a movie with Cynthia, her changes were also rapid and unsettling. She became alarmingly thin, almost unrecognizable. During that time, Cynthia seemed to control Ariana in a way that went beyond friendship, always needing to hold Ariana Grande's hand. She even appeared frightened and repeatedly stared at her own palm after being refused. Later, when Ariana Grande hugged a fan, Cynthia's expression suddenly turned fierce, and it was captured by the fan. After seeing the video, Ariana Grande felt very uneasy and believed Cynthia had crossed the boundaries of friendship. Along with negative comments from fans, this became unbearable for Ariana Grande, who was already struggling with emotional issues. So she ultimately chose to distance herself from Cynthia, even cutting off contact. Since then, Ariana's condition has been improving day by day. She has regained 10 pounds and her makeup and styling are about to return to her original look. Do you think Ariana Grande made the right decision?
Everything is banking. Do you know you have a 72-hour right of rescission on everything? You get a ticket from a police officer and he gives you a ticket for speeding down the road. You can rescind that ticket within 72 hours. So I didn't ask, do we have any police officers in the room? Any attorneys? Any government agents? That's a shame. I wish you guys had some of those around because I'd love to debate them for just a little bit.
How do you do that right decision?
I take a red Sharpie and a 45-degree angle. I write your offer to contract is not accepted while traveling in private in my private automobile. You operate under Title 18, Section 241 and 242 as a conspiracy to deprive me of my rights under the color of law. And I mail it back in.
I think the government does what it wants, whenever it wants, and how it wants.
Be careful who you mess over, because the Bible literally says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You don't know who God has on assignment. And when God has his hands on somebody's life, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not hate, not negativity, not lies or gossip, not anything you try to throw at them, because what God has ordained will stand. The Bible also says, no weapon formed against them shall prosper. So all of that talking, all of that plotting, all of that trying to tear somebody down, it doesn't cancel their calling. It exposes you. And a lot of people don't realize that. You putting your mouth on people who are covered by God. You trying to fight people that God is backing up. That's why the moment you try to come against them, everything in your life start falling apart, because you're not just coming against a person. You're coming against what God placed on them. So be careful, because everybody is not just regular. Some people are anointed, and that's not something you want to play with.
How no one has Adam's apples anymore? In the 60s and 70s, every man walked around with one. But take a look at boys today. They are literally not developing them anymore. And what's causing this is crazy. And it's actually impacting more than just Adam's apples. Men exposed to industrial chemicals in their tap water grew up with penises that were 12.5% shorter than unexposed men.
These are the strangest celebrity addictions. So Katy Perry is addicted to flossing and keeps dozens of floss picks on her person at all times to ensure that she always has clean teeth, while Jessica Simpson only brushes her teeth every other day as she claims that it makes her teeth too slippery. Megan Fox is afraid of flying and can only board a plane if she's listening to Britney Spears in order to comfort her. Speaking of which, Britney Spears is apparently addicted to chewing on ice for comfort. David Beckham has extreme symmetry OCD, where everything in his house must be perfectly aligned or in even pairs. He even does this in hotels, and it's reported if he finds 3 cans of soda in his mini fridge, he'll throw one out so that the count is even. Kit Harington has a weird superstition where he scratches his manhood every time he sees an ambulance, while James McAvoy yells white rabbit at midnight on the 1st of every month. Heidi Klum carries a bag of her baby teeth as she believes it gives her good luck during her modeling jobs. And finally, Naomi Campbell does a full chemical scrub of every plane seat that she sits on, bringing surgical gloves and heavy-duty disinfectant wipes. Honestly, I get that.
Before death, Burt Lancaster exposed 7 evil actors from old Hollywood. Number 7. Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas was described by Lancaster as a predator in human skin. The alleged journal claimed Douglas used his power to control young actresses, punished women who refused his advances, and even used drugs to manipulate people around him. Number 6. Natalie Wood. Despite her sweet public image, Natalie Wood was labeled a master manipulator. Lancaster allegedly claimed she once faked fainting on set to get a co-star fired, suggesting her charm hit a much darker side. Number 5. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was labeled a drunken tyrant and a devil in the dressing room. He allegedly used heavy drinking, rage, smashed bottles, and threats of suicide to intimidate and silence his co-stars. Number 4. James Stewart. Contrary to his clean public image, James Stewart was called a silent saboteur. Lancaster allegedly claimed he took notes on co-stars' mistakes, used quiet judgment, and helped destroy other people's careers. Number 3. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was described as an emotional puppet master. Lancaster claims she weaponized her fragile image to control directors, vanish from sets for hours, and use drama to rule through fear.
I've always wondered what meteor showers were all about, and here's an excerpt from the Taylor Durden book called Fiat People, Reset Wars. In 1833, the Leonid meteor shower brought about 100,000 to 240,000 meteors per hour. These major meteor showers and comets are not what we are told. These are essentially portals for the fallen to enter through and also an exit path for the fallen to loop back through later through reincarnation. They come as a sign of a shift in the quantum field. The climate season in the collective consciousness changes and triggers these events. Certain entities can only incarnate during certain seasons. For parasites, they cannot flourish in seasons where the atmosphere or consciousness is vibrant. Corrupting the flow of qi through the realms extends the reincarnation window for parasites and fallen ones. Then all the patents burn up in Washington, D.C., and again in 1877. All the models and patents are lost. More erasure of technology and history. This was to further control the release of technology and implement the planned obsolescence system. By 1848, there were slave revolts or revolutions all over Europe. This was all part of the shift from mulatto, quadroon-looking leadership to pale leadership. There was also the slaughtering of natives under Andrew Jackson around this time that we know as the Trail of Tears, as well as decades of Seminole Wars, followed up by the reset of 1859, the Carrington event, resetting all communications on Earth. I'd like to add that what appears to be our First World War in 1812 started off with a comet that lasted in the sky for 260 days. So what came through with this comet?
There is an archipelago of 4,000 islands that pulls people from every corner of the world, and most of them cannot explain why. Indonesia, the largest Muslim majority country on Earth, and simultaneously one of the
That's where I'm from.
most spiritually alive territories on the planet. Those two things existing together in the same geography is the detail that almost nobody sits with properly. The volcanic geology running through the entire archipelago generates one of the most electromagnetically active environments on Earth. The ring of fire underneath Indonesia is not incidental to its spiritual reputation. The Balinese, the Javanese, and the Dayak people of Borneo all developed their spiritual frameworks in direct relationship with the landscape that is genuinely alive in ways that stable geological territories are not. Java contains the largest Buddhist temple on Earth, Borobudur, built in the 9th century as a three-dimensional mandala designed to be walked as an initiation. The pilgrim moves through 10 levels corresponding to the Buddhist cosmological states of consciousness, from ordinary human awareness to enlightened mind. It was buried under volcanic ash and jungle for centuries and rediscovered in 1814. What it was built for was not worship, but transformation through movement through sacred space. Bali held its Hindu-Buddhist animist tradition intact through 6 centuries of Islamization that swept every surrounding island. Every 210 days, the entire island performs Nyepi, a day of absolute silence. No light or movement or sound.
No
The
internet.
island stops completely. The Balinese understanding is precise. Dark forces searching for human activity find nothing and move on. The island resets its energetic field. The Dayak shamanic traditions of Borneo contain some of the most sophisticated animist cosmological frameworks in the entire world. The relationship between the living, the ancestral dead, and the spirit world maintained through ceremonies that have been running continuously for thousands of years. What do you think keeps drawing people back to this specific part of the world?
The morally corrupt Faye Resnick is perhaps one of the coldest reads in reality television history. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when Camille Grammer at that dinner party from hell is trying to figure out where she knows Faye Resnick from, cut to a confessional and she realizes, oh, that's Faye Resnick, the morally corrupt Faye Resnick. And the conversation that follows this realization at the dinner is that she is familiar with Faye's spread in Playboy. However, when Camille Grammer called Faye Resnick morally corrupt, it is not because she posed for Playboy. It's because of the circumstances that allowed her to pose for Playboy. My name is Laura.
Who cares?
Welcome back to Characters. Before we get into the moral corruption, let's talk about who Faye Resnick is, who she was before the quote-unquote moral corruption event. She's originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, and it kind of seems like by the time she landed in Los Angeles by the mid-90s, she had lived many lives. She moved to LA in 1986, and in 1987, the following year, married Paul Resnick. He was a hotel refurbisher and an entrepreneur. Obviously, she kept the last name Resnick. They divorced in 1991. With their split, Faye Resnick allegedly received a settlement of $194,000. This is according to an LA Times article that we'll talk about a little bit later. That LA Times article references biographical information that Faye shares in her book. And she says by the time that she became known in the public eye, she had been married and divorced 3 times, engaged an additional 2 times, and had had several lovers. The divorce from Paul Resnick is said to have been amicable, and with this divorce settlement, plus her career as an interior designer, she was pretty firmly embedded in some high-profile social circles, in Brentwood, in Beverly Hills, and this is how she ended up in the orbit of Nicole Brown Simpson, the wife, ex-wife, and victim of O.J. Simpson.
Products that got discontinued for solving the problem. 1. The Forever Flashlight. In 2002, Applied Innovative Technologies introduced a flashlight that needed no batteries. You shook it to generate power using electromagnetic induction. No replacements, no waste. After early success, the company faced sudden supply and manufacturing problems. The patent was sold. The product vanished. The idea worked. The business model didn't. 2. The Indestructible Charging Cable. In 2004, Fuse Chicken created a steel-armored phone cable built to survive extreme bending and stress. It came with a lifetime warranty. Most cables fail at the connector. This one didn't. Retailers slowly stopped stocking it. The cable industry relies on frequent replacements. A cable that never breaks threatens that cycle. 3. Lifetime mufflers. In the 1950s, some auto shops sold mufflers with lifetime guarantees. They were made of heavy stainless steel and superior welds. Customers bought one and never came back. The shops expected repeat business. Instead, they sold a product that refused to fail. By the 1960s, most stores quietly ended the offer. A perfect muffler was bad for profits.
Such a shame how advanced we could be if it weren't for greed.
You're going to want to listen to this.
If they never asked for your side of the story, then the side that they heard is exactly how they feel about you. Never explain yourself to people who are already dedicated to misunderstanding you.
I almost completely agree with her on this one. Almost. But first, she's right about this part. When someone has already made up their mind about you without ever asking your side, that tells you exactly where you stand with them, right? They picked a version of you that works for their story. And honestly, no amount of explaining is really going to undo that. And research on confirmation bias actually shows us that once someone believes something about you, their brain literally filters out anything that contradicts it. So you could sit them down, you can pour your heart out, you can give them every single detail, and they'd still walk away believing the exact same thing they believed before you said a word. Now, here's the piece that she left out. You don't always have to cut people off completely, but you do need to start paying attention to who genuinely wants to understand you versus who just wants to be right about you. Because those are two very, very different kinds of people. And your energy, honestly, it deserves to go towards the ones who actually care enough to ask.
In the 1950s, Hollywood could not stop staring at Deborah Paget. With her dark hair, hypnotic eyes, and almost unreal beauty, studio executives pushed her into exotic, seductive roles that made audiences obsessed with her. Elvis Presley reportedly became infatuated with her while filming Love Me Tender, and rumors swirled that billionaire Howard Hughes was equally captivated. But behind the glamour was a woman trapped by the very image Hollywood created. Paget became famous for playing mysterious, sensual women in lavish epics and adventure films, including her unforgettable snake dance in The Indian Tomb. A performance so mesmerizing, it became one of the most talked about scenes of her career. Then, at the height of her fame, she quietly vanished from Hollywood. Today, incredibly, the legendary actress is 92 years old and living a quiet life in Texas. Did you know her name before today?
They've been softening men for the past 20 years on purpose to make society easier to control, and only the elite know the real truth. Here's everything they're not telling you. For thousands of years, strong masculine men created strong families and stable societies. Then the elite went to work. They funded feminism to shift power in the home and turn women against traditional masculine men. They flooded our food, water, and products with plastics, seed oil, soy, and endocrine disruptors that crash testosterone. They added fluoride to the drinking water and aggressively pushed plant-based diets while shaming meat-eating men. They weaponized Hollywood and media to portray men as villains or idiots while celebrating weak, emotional, and effeminate characters. They created OnlyFans and mainstream porn to addict men and distort their view of real women. They put women on widespread birth control, altering hormones and attraction patterns, making society more emotional and chaotic. They use schools, dating apps, and social media to reward compliance and punish strength. The results are devastating. Testosterone levels have collapsed across generations. Millions of young men are lost with no purpose, no fight, no ambition. They're either simping desperately addicted to porn or completely checked out in games and scrolling. This wasn't random. A soft, emotional, weak male population is much easier to control. Strong men build strong families and resist tyranny. Soft men obey, consume, and stay quiet. It's the perfect system. They sold it to you as progress, toxic masculinity, and liberation. In reality, they dismantled healthy masculinity on purpose so they can better control our society. Now both men and women are more miserable than ever. Families are collapsing. Birth rates are crashing. Society feels weak, divided, and broken. This is one of the greatest, most multi-layered social engineering operations in modern history. If you want to learn how I make 6 figures each month off of content, like this video and follow my page for more.
A bump on the bridge of the nose, aggressiveness. A small nose, small ego, taking yourself less seriously. A fleshy nose is a big heart, altruistic. A longer nose is more ambition. If the nose bridge is very, very straight, it's the ability to play string instruments. A nose flat against the face is gossipy. A low septum is a love of philosophy. A cute little button nose makes people want to trust you more and take care of you. They feel like you can't take care of yourself. A bigger nose, more striking, more independence, more ego, boss babe. Boniness in the nose, the ability to be ruthless. A small bridge with a lot of flesh at the tip, called a garlic nose, belongs to compassionate people.
I think that's my nose right there.
A thin nose where it looks pinched all the way down the sides. People didn't help this person growing up. They had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They are self-made. Dong of nose, dong of mind. A line in the tip of your nose means you had your heart broken. You never got over it. Eagle nose, stubborn, can take advantage of people. Skinny nose bridge, lots of flesh at the end. Nose turns up. Last say nose. This person will always have the last say. A bump on the bridge of the nose. Occasional spicy lash outs.
Short men are genetically built to outlast tall men. And scientists finally have the proof. Researchers at the University of Hawaii studied thousands of men over several decades and found that men who were 5'2" and shorter lived the longest out of everyone. The taller the men got, the shorter their lifespan became, and this pattern did not stop all the way up to 6 feet. But the reason is what makes this so interesting. Shorter men were far more likely to carry a protective form of a gene called FOXC03, which is one of the most important longevity genes ever discovered. This gene keeps cells healthier for longer and slows down the aging process from the inside. But genetics is only part of it, because the bigger problem for tall people is their size itself. A tall body has trillions more cells than a short body, and every single one of those cells has to replicate to keep you alive. More cells you have, the more chances there are for one of them to mutate and turn into cancer. A study of over 30,000 people found that every single inch of height increases your cancer risk by up to 7% in men.
5 tattoos that could get you in serious trouble. Number 1, the bow tie on the neck. This tattoo is often forcefully applied to thieves that have broken the thief's code by siding with authority. Number 2, the 5-dot tattoo. This tattoo can also be called the quincunx, and it's supposed to represent a lengthy prison sentence. The 4 dots are supposed to represent the walls, while the dot in the middle is supposed to represent the prisoner. Number 3, the spiderweb tattoo. While many people get this tattoo for its appearance, in prison culture it's often associated with time spent behind bars. In some cases, it can also be linked to gang activity or a criminal lifestyle. Number 4, sugar skulls. Unless you're part of Mexican culture or heritage, getting this sugar skull tattoo, it probably won't be perceived well, and a lot of artists out there will refuse to tattoo sugar skulls unless you're part of that heritage. Number 5, the teardrop tattoo. This is one of the most recognized prison tattoos in the world. Depending on the region and the wearer, it can symbolize time served in prison, gang affiliation, or involvement in violent crime. Know anybody with these tattoos? Leave a comment below. Subscribe for more.
Nope.
Even when we kiss somebody, we're exchanging DNA. And that's a powerful exchange of energy. And I think oftentimes people are very loose with their energy, their sexual energy, and they don't realize that if I'm exchanging DNA with you, I might be taking on some of your traumas. I might be taking on some of your birth chart.
According to some opinions in Kabbalah, kissing is much more intimate than sexual relationships because when you get technical in Kabbalah, there's a lot of conversations around bodily fluids and what they all represent. The human body is a microcosm for the universe.
Comment Astro to listen to full podcast.
My parents never took me to the doctor growing up. My dad's been an herbalist since 1985. He's 75 years old and he homeschooled my brother and I along with my amazing mom. He's here to teach you everything that he knows about tinctures, herbs, gardening, homeschooling experience, just anything you want to know. He's the guy.
Take responsibility for your vessel, which is your body.
Yep.
And know that you can do a lot more than you think you can do. It's knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more you need to know.
I went to a birthday party when I was really young and we all got the stomach flu. And I remember, everyone was taking their kids to the doctor to get antibiotics. I was the only one out of like the 15 kids that didn't get antibiotics. They fed me colloidal silver. I got better before the rest of the kids got better and my symptoms were like way less than the rest of the kids.
We were using silver up until 1903, and then the antibiotics came out and we decided to never use it again. But we're responsible for your own body. They don't want you to be, but be responsible for your own health. And can we live fully until we're 90 years old? Because that's what we need. We don't want to be a burden. Yeah. Stay close to nature in all matters. The processed foods you're eating is going to ruin your digestion. I will tell you. Mm-hmm. Never eat anything a bug wouldn't eat, because a bug senses smell and taste is 1,000 times more sensitive than yours. It's like the canary in the mine. That bug don't eat it, I'm not eating it. If it doesn't go bad, it already is.
This is over 35 years of experience of my dad being a teacher and instructor of alternative studies, alternative medicine. I'm going to put this all together in a format that you guys can have, and anywhere around the world you can learn from him.
Hey.
Richard Nixon's diet was worse than Watergate and more 1970s than feathered hair. While Nixon was in the White House, his typical breakfast was fresh fruit, coffee, wheat germ, and cottage cheese topped with ketchup or black pepper. The Nixons supposedly loved cottage cheese so much that the night of Nixon's inauguration, his requested dinner was 4 steaks and a bowl of cottage cheese. Interesting combination. For lunch, he enjoyed cucumber mousse, cold poached salmon, and gazpacho. Spicy pepperoni salad was also in the rotation, and let me know if you've ever tried that before. Ham mousse was another Nixon family favorite, which is a criminal combination of ground ham, beef consomme, tomato juice, and gelatin stuffed in a mold, topped with whipped cream and served with mayonnaise on the side. Please check out my friend Cooking
It doesn't sound appetizing to me.
With Congress's video where he made and reviewed this culinary catastrophe. Nixon's dinner menu had the standard items of lasagna, spaghetti, boiled corned beef, and cabbage. And of course, Mrs. Nixon's famous meatloaf. The White House got so many requests for the recipe that they eventually released it to the public. A favorite dessert was baked grapefruit, which was apparently popular in Nixon's native California. I wonder if King Charles would have enjoyed Nixon family meals if he and Trisha had worked out. Have you tried any of Nixon's favorite foods? Let me know in the comments below.
4 types of women you should avoid dating. The IG thought, bro, this girl's addicted to attention like it's cocaína from Mexico. This girl will always tell you, baby, it's just for business, while DMing a bunch of other dudes. So run away, bro. The Miss Independent. This girl's favorite tagline is, I don't need a man. These girls usually have unrealistic standards and they think they're above men for some reason, bro. They will drain your pockets and give you depression, so stay away. The Clingy AF. You could spend 20 hours with her, then the next day she's saying, baby, you don't spend enough time with me. These types of women are almost always using you just to fill their void, bro. And their typical cycle is bouncing from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, trying to heal that inner emptiness, bro, that they can't fix. And if you're not constantly filling their void, they treat you as disposable, so they gotta go, bro. The Clubber. This girl always says she goes to clubs to bond with her girls. Stop believing that shit, Nate. She's outside every week for validation, bro. She's always fishing for day, you know what I'm saying? These types of girls will cheat on you like this, bro. Always kissing other dudes while they have a boyfriend at home, bro. No woman who's grown and worth your time is hitting up the club every single week, bro, so that gotta go.
You know what we say in Italy? If you want to know about man's work, talk to his wife. And if you want to know about his...
Is this AI?
...wife...
She's so beautiful.
Talk to his mistress. But when a man wants to make love, he doesn't talk about missiles. He makes love. And then he snores. In America, it's different.
All right. Thank you for staying till the end. I hope you like my lineup. Don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss my next video. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.